You're listening to Back in the Day, Nostalgic 90s.
Live from other ends of the world, we have Stitch and Dean. Back in the day, you wouldn't have known them by no names. If you said Hippie and Lanky, maybe they would have answered. And if Lanky didn't work, maybe Goggle-Eyed or Javelin. We are here remembering the bad old days. This is bonus version of Scary School Days. We're only happy about the school days because we live 30 years away from them. Is that right, Dean?
That's right. Although I wouldn't mind it being a little bit longer than 30 years.
Here,
But yes,
here.
today me and Stitch, we're on this bonus episode of Back in the Day Nostalgic 90s. We're tackling things like school hair and fashion. Yes, a time when a haircut wasn't a style, it was more of a structural failure. I'm talking about the curtains, of course, a middle parting that made every teenage boy look like a depressed medieval squire, cemented in place with gel that dried harder than rock. Kids didn't look cool, they looked like wet otters, which were in turn trying to look like boy bands. Let's revisit the shame.
The battle of the microphones continues. How's it feeling, listeners? We've done a few shows already. I am parading the Razer Seren X. I don't know about you. What version are you on?
I am parading. I will have to bend my head round and have a look and read it. The Fifine.
Right, that sounds UK-ish.
Yeah, that's right. It's I think it's an American company
Right.
that is well, you can guarantee it's made in China, but they're trying to replicate. Well, probably shouldn't say this. Shure, Shure, do a microphone, which I don't know. I think it's sort of a £200-300 range, and Fifine are competitors, but they come in significantly cheaper. And so that's what I'm rocking today.
Wow. There we go. Reduced. The 5-minute competition. Dean thought it was a £5,000 competition. The 5-minute competition is still open. One lucky listener who guesses what my proudest moment or my biggest, most famous platform or thing is will get 5 minutes with the boys in the booth on Zoom. Coming up, fashion and sports, and also Stitch and Dean disclose how they've kept their figure so slim and trim. What diets are we on? We won't tell you now. You have to listen to the end of the show to find the answer. What's coming up, Dean? The fashion, yes? What did you look like at school? I hate to think.
Wow. Well, remembering I went to school before the 1990s,
Yes.
I rocked a very fetching Boris Johnson haircut.
Mm-hmm.
When in my younger days I was very, very blonde, and it's gone darker over the years. But yeah, so I had a Bojo haircut, and then after a while, if we're still talking haircuts, I had a spirit level haircut. My mum always used to cut my hair, and the trouble with that was that I had a fringe. But the problem with that, in turn, was that I have a natural head tilt. So I had this natural head tilt whilst I was having my haircut. So my mum would cut my fringe, which was dead level to her, and then whenever I held my head up straight, it would be at a 45-degree angle.
Very fetching.
Or getting on that way anyway. So there were some pretty tragic haircuts.
So I'm guessing you did a few. You did the short back and sides. You did the flat top. You did the curtains, and you also did the hair gel and the hairspray.
Yeah. Well, for me, all that happened because of my age. That era came along after I'd left school.
Ah,
But yeah, I did do the flat top. Yeah, but that was after I'd left school.
right. Okay. Well, you might be able to guess what we look like because the advert on YouTube and Instagram and Spotify has tried to replicate what me and Dean look like, only with today's heads on, but our kit was trying to reminisce. Now, I had a maroon shirt, a grey jumper, and then I had darker grey trousers. I had a tie, but I can't remember my tie. You had grey and white, didn't you?
Yeah. Which school would this have been?
I
Middle
know it.
school
This I remember this
or
being this was Oakfield. I was the maroon.
ah, yeah. Well, in Selwood, the middle school I went to, we had a bit of maroon as well going on in the tie
Ah,
department.
ah.
Yeah, but I think we were black trousers. If I can remember, I remember the holes in my knees. So if I yes, they were black trousers. I think we may have been allowed grey, and we had grey jumpers.
Just
It
lighter
was the
colour.
school tie, but yeah, the tie was the critical thing. I think we're allowed grey or black
Yeah.
jumpers and trousers and shirts, but you had to wear the tie.
So my first faux pas, and I couldn't get it descripted well enough on our advert picture, but my loving mum knitted me a jumper, and it was like a patchwork one. So it was different shades of grey and different crocheting techniques. And she proudly gave it to me and told me this was my school jumper, which, as you know, any faux pas which is not going with Joe Public is looked on with scorn. So I think I only wore it one day, and then I went back to my original one. Any other faux
Oh,
pas, Dean?
mum,
Oh,
yeah. Well,
mum.
actually, the knitting thing it reminds me of probably one of the biggest faux pas of my schooling life. It was when I asked my mum to knit me a balaclava. Kids kids weren't really into balaclavas anyway, but for some reason, I wanted one, and she knitted one with just instead of one where it had a hole for your face, she knitted one that had just two eye holes. So I looked like a terrorist. Well, I would have, but again, like your mum, she got out for multicolored wool. So it's a multicolored IRA balaclava with two eye holes. And I walked down to the school bus stop, and my best mate was there, and he didn't recognise me, and he ripped at me so much, I just couldn't face it. I just thought I'll just hang on to my anonymity, and I just decided to walk to school instead. And then I told him about it later. So, by the way, that was me with the balaclava.
Unbelievable. I
That was
can't. Anyway, for people who don't know what balaclavas are, they are what robbers and thieves use to disguise their identity when doing misdemeanors. My other misdemeanors in the fashion forepaws were we did mention mass football matches, and because I used to skag up my trousers because I was in goal, I always used to have holes in my trousers, which mum used to put patches on, which didn't look that good. And then she got so sick of putting patches on, she said, "From now on, my son, you are wearing shorts." So, in any weather, whatever the season, I wore shorts to school. But back in the day, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the 1960s or 50s when everyone had to do it. This was 1990. So wearing shorts was very embarrassing.
with those legs. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, if they were chunky and handsome, then maybe you could get away with it. But long and lanky and thin and unmuscular. Yes. What about your shoes? What shoes did you wear, mate? I've depicted you in black shoes, but I'm thinking you might be a trainer man. I always wore shoes, and again, I had to buy my own because I skagged them up. Go on, what did you wear?
I always wore shoes because at the time, I think we had to wear shoes. I don't think trainers were allowed, you know.
Right,
All of my school photos, none of the kids have got trainers on. It's all school
right.
shoes. Yeah. So,
No.
like I said in one of the main episodes, I had a school grant. So once a year, I had £6 from the government to buy shoes, and even then, you couldn't get much for £6. So
Oh, wow.
I used to go to school in these terrible plastic shoes that would fall apart after a few weeks. And so after that, I would have to make do with whatever mum could get from the second-hand shop.
Brilliant.
And so,
Okay.
yeah, I used to wear all
Not, not,
sorts.
not
But
even.
there are a lot of other kids.
Hmm.
A lot of other kids were like that as well. Yeah, who didn't have much money. We even had one kid come to school, and he was wearing girl shoes, you know, with heels on, proper girl shoes, and he had a tough life at school.
Why did
Oh,
you? What? Are they cheaper? Are they?
it was all his mum. It's all his mum could perhaps find at the
Perhaps,
time in the second-hand shop.
perhaps it was
So
hand-me-downs. Perhaps it was mum's hand-me-downs. Perhaps they didn't buy them at all. You're wearing them, son.
perhaps they,
I
yeah,
used to wear them when I was in the factory.
yeah, perhaps they were his mum's shoes.
Yeah, I reckon they could have been. I couldn't think you could
Mum's
buy them unless you had your head screwed on wrong. So even in the big school, you never had trainers.
I don't
What about
think so.
others?
No, no. I remember even the I'm picturing one of the Neanderthal boys kicking a football.
Yeah.
He always has. No, it was shoes. Yeah, always. I
Wow.
think the rules changed
Yeah, they
because
did.
remember I went to school 4 years before you did,
Yeah.
and the rules changed in many areas of school life,
Well, we've talked about.
including
Yeah.
discipline and so
Yeah.
forth. Yeah.
Fashion and discipline. Well, I remember this was in Oakfield because I remember actually walking up the road. Yeah. So they used to wear trainers, and I was the odd one out because I used to wear shoes. And I had bought, or my mum had bought, some Dunlops, green flash ones. But at the time, they weren't cool. But they were trainers, and they were better than shoes. So I hid my Dunlops in the hedge. And as I came out the house, I think I used to go out the back and then come to the front and then swap the Dunlop trainers and walk to school. But they weren't cool. So they were trainers, same as the milk tops, yeah? I tried my best, but I still wasn't cool. So it wasn't Puma or Adidas. So I still didn't make the grade. I was always trying to be popular, but it never worked. But then in the big school, then we started having the Pumas and the Nikes and Adidas and the baseball shoes. Did Puma? When did Adidas and a Puma and all those lots start? It just felt like they started early 90s. Were they around before that? Because they was just so big at the time. Nike, Puma, and Adidas. It felt like they never existed before. Or am I just dreaming it up?
I think I think they were around
Right.
before the 90s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think Adidas um, have been around for decades and decades.
All right. And I remember there's
Uh,
another guy
yeah,
I remember called Sid, who was quite built like a brick house. He always used to wear Adidas or Nike baseball shoes, baseball boots. Yeah, very funky. They looked good, but I couldn't afford them, and I only had me Dunlops.
yeah. Both Puma and this is Google. Both Puma and Adidas originated from a bitter feud between the German Dassler brothers. Rudolf and Adolf Dassler started making shoes together in 1924, but split the business in 1948.
Well, it's a
So
bit before my time.
yeah, one of them became Puma, and the other became Adidas.
Good on you. Good on you. So we've talked about how to get to school, but we tell you how to get to school. Did you have mountain bikes? Do you remember mountain bikes? I remember them first coming out and like being all fluorescent different colours, and people riding to school in them.
Yeah,
Fluorescent.
yeah, I think it's still more BMXs
Right.
in my day. BMXs, and also we had bikes with quite big frames and sort of cow bars.
Yes.
Do we call them cow bars? For handlebars.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Cow
Really
horns.
wide. So if you're riding down North Parade, with really steep hill in front, if you're riding down North Parade, and you have to be careful not to clip pedestrians with your handlebars as you were going by, which happened to
Mm.
me more than once.
We will talk more about transportation to the school after this advert and PE stories.
In a world of friction and awkward public adjustments, one hero stands tall: Active Briefs. With patented Volt technology, it's a high-performance suspension system for your lower chassis that wicks moisture faster than you can say the word chafing and keeps what matters in a locked, upright position. Use code FREEDOM at activebriefs.com for 15% off your first 3-pack. Active Briefs. Support what matters. Disclaimer: warranty does not cover grizzly bear wrestling.
If you would like to contact the show, you can do so in the comment section, preferably on Spotify. That's our preferred platform, but you can also do it presumably on whichever platform you are listening on. Also, you can contact us via email back in the no, not that, stitchanddean@gmail.com, and our Instagram page is Back in the Day Nostalgic 90s. Spell the word 90s. And you can DM us and comment on any of our posts.
Talking about that, thank you for YouTube now keeping up with Spotify in its listeners. Subscribers needs a bit of G'ing up, but other than that, superb work by our promoters. Going to school, mountain bikes, fluorescent coloured frames, I remember. Grifters and choppers were probably before our time, but remember them still being about. And the last time I saw a chopper, you never believe this, I went to Malaysia and went to a museum of like the emperor there, and the Queen or the King of England had given the king or the emperor back in this is like ages ago, a grifter as a present. And there's a grifter in like a glass container in this museum. I will put the picture up on Instagram. It is amazing. It brought me back the memories. But back in the day, that was probably quite an elite present, wasn't it? There's not many of them around, I would expect.
Yeah, the grifter was the thing to have at
Isn't
the
it?
time.
Yeah.
Not, well, more 80s, I think. Really, so more when I was at school. I learnt to ride on a chopper bike.
Right.
Yeah. Just up from me, my best mate lived a few doors up the road, and down the back of his road. Well, he was in the next road, but yeah, down the back of where they lived, there was a service lane so people could get to their garages,
Mm.
and it was a gravelly drive, and I learnt to ride on his chopper bike,
Right.
riding up and down there and falling off and getting my elbows skagged.
Is
What
it?
I thought was really what I thought was really cool about the chopper bike was that it had a gear lever.
Yeah.
The gear lever was on the crossbar,
Yeah.
wasn't it, between the
Yeah.
legs? Yeah, so
Yeah.
you just reach down and change gear, like, a bit like a
Car.
car
The
gear
original
stick,
car.
almost like
Yeah.
a gear stick. Yeah,
Well,
cool.
hold that point. We will have more. Remember, the polls are out. Show 10 is in your hands. Do you want to listen about push bikes, heroes, or first jobs? And talking about polls, each of our Spotify podcasts all have polls, and the polls we've got back are not big, but we had which is the best color car, red or blue, and we had blue the winner. And was school easy, hard, or great? And someone ticked all of them, so it's a draw. Talking about shorts, we always had to wear shorts during PE lessons, whatever the weather. When it was ringing it down, it was freezing cold. The teacher used to stand by with his umbrella and his tracksuit and his raincoat on, and we wore our shorts running around in all weathers. What sports did we do for PE, Dean?
Yes, I did rugby and football and hockey.
Yep.
There was athletics as well and cross-country running.
Yeah.
Which at Frome College, Frome, it was had quite expansive grounds around it, didn't it? And so it was really good for a cross-country course.
Staying in the grounds, yeah. We didn't have to go outside, yeah. I did all the same. And throwing this out to the listeners and also to Dean, guess my best sport. And from my physique, you probably won't get it.
I suppose we can't say javelin.
It's not javelin.
As for javelin, can't we? No.
No.
No. Your best sport?
He's struggling. You're going to get it wrong anyway. You're going to get it wrong. So just say first thing that comes into your head.
This one comes into my head. Shot put.
Shot put. There he is. There's our German and Russian listeners listening by their droves now. My best sport was rugby.
Wow.
And you know why? Because I was about... Go on.
What position, though?
I was a winger. And because I was so lanky and long, the kids could only reach up to my knees. And I used to get the ball any part of the pitch and just run for one of the corners. And even if people tackled me, I had the ability of keeping going forward. So sometimes I used to put the ball down over the try line with like 3 or 4 people clinging to my shorts and my kneecaps and my laces. But I managed to keep striding forward. So despite my my physique, that was my most prestigious sport. What about yours?
Well, I didn't know that. You never can tell, can you?
The things you learn on this podcast, mate. Yeah.
Yes. I would say, definitely not football. That was an attack on my dignity. I would say probably athletics and running, so cross country as well. But I experienced a bit of a decline. At middle school, I was pretty good at running.
Right.
So I would do when we did the 1,500 meters, I would, out of 30 children, I'd come in maybe second or third. But for some reason, I had a decline. So why that was, whether it was diet based, because like we said in the main show, the living off sausages, chips, and beans every day, it's not going to be great for your salmon. So but there was a real dip in my performance when I got up to Frome College, but I still enjoyed the running more than anything else. So I ended up being average, maybe even a bit below average, but I still loved it. So that's my favourite.
The place where I am now, their sports day is not that big, and their sports is just like wandering around taking photographs or playing with the phone. So it's not as epic where I am, but there was everything: high jump, long jump. There was sand pits, wasn't there? I even remember having like the pole vault. There was even that one. Yeah. My other story. Hockey really feels like we're in a posh school, but everyone used to learn hockey. I had a hockey story. I wasn't that good at it. Again, it was on a red clay pitch, and rain or sun, we used to play on that. I remember throwing my hockey stick once. Someone had taken a shot from way out, and there was no one around. And I don't know why maybe I was the keeper, I can't remember, but there was no one around, and I threw my stick so accurately that it hit the ball and deviated it away from the goal, which I was ecstatic about. But I got sent off, and the goal and then the goal stood, which I thought was quite unfair.
Yeah, hockey. Yeah, I remember doing some damage in hockey. to a few people's knuckles.
Right.
Yes, yeah. But I remember this is way pre. This would have been back in the 1950s, I think, when my mum was at school. She says that she lost a nipple in a hockey
Dear.
in a hockey match. Yeah, that's what she told me, and
You get it
I
back.
never saw any. No, it gone forever. Yeah, someone
Okay.
just did a big swipe and took it clean
Cleaned off.
off. But I never I never quite got to the bottom of whether she was having me on or not.
No.
I just but she was so serious about it.
Yeah.
I believed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So you should.
I never saw any evidence. Well, why would I? I wouldn't want to see any evidence.
Yeah.
It was me mum after all. But
Nipple. He's
yeah,
lost a nipple. Right.
yes, yeah. So these things happen
They do. Dangerous
when
sports.
when you're playing hockey and you're a bit too free with your stick.
Don't forget, yes. Bullying stories continues. Hockey. There was a guy we bullied. You heard about it in the other show. His name was Mason, and I don't know why. I can't think for the life of me. We used to get the sticks and try and take his legs out, and we picked on him for some unknown reason. Again, I was the instigator. Then a few years afterwards, I was with my dad working up Badcocks near where the ice cream shop was, and he came up the road with a baseball bat, and I thought, blinking heck, here goes. If he remembers how I treated him, I might get the baseball bat round me ear. And he was nice as pie. Talked to me as they were like our best mate, and I was really shocked and surprised. It was quite nice. How you doing? Yeah, what are you working at? La 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 la. So he obviously had a short memory, which was it saved my bacon.
Yes, either a short memory or a very forgiving nature.
Oh, thank you, Mason. If
Oh,
you're listening,
lovely. Yes.
subscribe and comment. Dean, our slim, trim figures have been sustained by our diets. I'll first show you mine. This is what I'm doing now to keep sustainable. I used to have bacon and egg sausages every day in the morning religiously. Now I am making my own. Dean's the only one who can see this. We are not on video at the moment. This is my own made muesli bar, dried fruit and nuts and my pien, like oats go in there, and then like coconut flakes, cranberry, anything you can find. Then I coat it with dark chocolate because there's no added sugar in 70% dark chocolate, and I have chunks of that in the morning, which sustains my slim figure, Dean, and also fills me up adequately. How do you eat to keep a slim, trim figure?
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, first of all, for the listener, what Stitch has just described, it actually looks like a tiffin. It looks very unhealthy, but well, we now know what it really is, what goes
Total
in it.
natural,
Super
yeah,
healthy.
totally natural.
Wow,
Yeah,
natural.
nothing
Yeah.
added, no
Well,
sugar,
yeah.
anything. Honey, only honey, but honey's natural sweetener. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Well, I stay trim because I was listening to another podcast. It's probably a couple of years ago now, and there was this a French woman on there, a diet, well, more of a scientist actually, in the field of diet, and she suggested eating all your when you eat a meal, eat all your vegetables first, and it creates a starchy lining for your stomach, and then it stops so much, and then eat your proteins and then your carbs, and it stops uh, the carbs and the sugars being absorbed so much.
Mm.
So that's how I do it, and it also stops me getting like sugar slumps after a meal, get so
Mm.
tired. Because after a lot of sugar, you can get really tired, and I feel like a nap. So that's how I do it. Eat me veg first
Look at you.
and
There we go.
salad. Yeah.
There you go. You never thought this would be a scientific dietary program also. Don't forget your PE kit, because if you ever did, you'd have to go into the changing rooms and where someone else is. And I did that, and they were too tight playing rugby, and they got stripped off. So always bring your kit, otherwise you will be embarrassed. Boys and girls, we are over and out. My cat is hungry. It's time for my shortbread and flat white.
Yes, thank you all for listening. Thank you for indulging us whilst we pretend we're still the lads we were in 92. We'll be back next time with more memories, more nonsense, and more stories we probably should keep to ourselves.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please download, comment, and tell a friend.